Before we get into this video, I wanted to share and remind you all that there are still links in the description box below with ways that you can support the Black Lives Matter movement. Of course, it's not something that's being pushed to the forefront anymore because time has passed, but I want you all to know that everybody who is still black is still fighting. So there are ways that you can donate in the description box below. There are petitions that you can sign in the description box below, because we continue to have black bodies that are still being murdered and still being taken with no justice being handed down to those who are taking their lives. Ahmaud Arbery, we still waiting on justice. We have an indictment. We still waiting on justice. George Floyd, we still waiting on justice. Breonna Taylor, we still waiting on justice. And the list goes on and on and on. Those are just the three that are at the forefront of our minds right now. But there are tons of black bodies that have been murdered by police officers where we are still not receiving justice. Their families are not receiving justice. Their spirits and souls are not receiving justice. And they are deserving of that. So don't think that because these videos are coming back to you from black booktubers and black creators across the YouTube verse, that because we're doing more videos, we ain't still fighting. We're still fighting, and you gonna still see that shit. And there are links in the description box below so that you can help if you still give a fuck to do so. On to the video. And this will be at the front of every video until there becomes a reason for me to have to change it. Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I'm coming to do the mid-year freakout tag. I have been procrastinating in getting this video done for no reason other than the amount of books that I have to pull to make this happen. But books have been pulled. They are beside me in no order whatsoever, so this is going to be a mess. We're gonna do this video. So I don't remember who created this video. I think Jerry found it, so yeah, if she did, I will copy the link from her page and from her video and put it in the description box below. And yeah, okay, so we're just gonna get started. This is a really fun way to do a mid-year check-in on your reading. So here we go. First question is the best book you've read so far this year. And for that, it seems like I read it so fucking long ago, but we really did just read it in February. The Last Thing You Surrender by Leonard Pitts Jr. I'm trying to do a different book for each one, so there's more than one book that would actually fit this prompt. This is the one that I'm choosing to answer this prompt, but also The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. Holy shit. On this list. Question number 2, the best sequel you've read so far this year. Surprisingly, I have not read a lot of sequels this year because I'm focusing on reading books on my own bookshelf, and so of those, there are quite a few books that I have that are for series that I haven't started yet. But the answer for this question is going to blind you all because my light. Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. This, and I didn't even describe The Last Thing You Surrender. I will link my review of that in the description box below because there's so much that I could say about it. But yeah, this, I was terrified that this was going to suffer from sequel suckage, and with it only being a duology, if the sequel sucks, there's nothing to redeem it. And that is not what happened. We continue to follow the story of Laszlo and the things that he discovered in the first book, which was Strange the Dreamer, how they impact his life and the life of Weep, the villagers in Weep, into book 2. And there are just so many wonderful things that Laini Taylor did with this. Number one, she made a duology that feels like an ending, but also makes us look forward to the other stories that she's going to do, because there are allusions to other stories on the way. This book is heavy, so I'm just resting it on my shoulder. And I absolutely it just made me love Laszlo even more. This was the second 5-star book that I read for 2020, so this is high up there. This was so good. Question number 3, a new release you haven't read yet but want to, and for that, the selection that I'm giving is Black Girl Unlimited. I don't remember who the author is. I'm trash. But yeah, I really want to read this. It was on my list to read, number one, because the cover is gorgeous. But then Brittany from Melanin Eclectic and Oshale from Oshi Reads read that for their Black, and Troy from the Black Prose Book Club, or Black Prose Club they're called now, read that for one of their selections. And Brittany shared how the book was much more than what they were led to believe it was, just by the synopsis and the title. So I'm super looking forward to reading it, because why not be wrecked? Yeah. Number 4, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I really don't follow new releases much anymore. But Alyssa Cole has a new book coming out, and I follow the fuck out of her. So she has a thriller coming out called When No One Is Watching, and I have pre-ordered that, which, if you all, those of you who are new, maybe don't know, I don't know if I've said it here, I've said it on Instagram, I have had horrible luck with pre-ordering books on Amazon, but I pre-ordered this because I want it when it is released immediately. Book number 5. Biggest disappointment. I have 2 books for this. The first is Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I don't know who read this book and said, let's make a TV series off of this. I still haven't even finished this book. I read this as a buddy read with Tori from Tori Morrow, and Tori finished it. She powered through it. I have yet to finish it, and I don't have that far left to go. But it is just so boring. It's so boring. And apparently it's got a huge following. What I did enjoy about it while I was reading it is how landscapes are described, and the but the look of Scotland and the areas that they travel to. Because if you don't know, I really do enjoy travel stories, fiction travel stories, and where the majority of the story is a journey and they're learning things along the journey. I really enjoy those kinds of stories. So that part of the book was enjoyable, but everything that has to do with interactions between characters and dialogue, all of that shit, it's a slog fest. The other book that is one of my biggest disappointments for 2020 thus far is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. I was so excited to see what happened in this book, and it was such a huge letdown to see not only what was going on with some of the characters, some of the things that were alluded to but not actually shown, and then all of a sudden magically people know what to do. And yes, it's a book about magic, but give me the journey. Give me the journey. And then the way that this ended. Number 6, biggest surprise, City of Dark Magic by Magnus Flight. This was a 100% cover buy, and it was phenomenal. I'm still excited about this. I have a review. It'll be linked below or in the cards. Yeah, this was so good. So good. And the blurb, I will share the blurb from Conan O'Brien, which says, this deliciously madcap novel has it all. Murder in Prague, time travel, a misanthropic Beethoven, tantric sex, and a dwarf with attitude. This is so good. Number 7, favorite new author. And I am puzzled with this because I kind of have 2, but both of them are off of one book for each author. So the first is Leonard Pitch Jr., who wrote The Last Thing You Surrender, which I absolutely loved and which floored me. And then the second is Edwidge Danticat, who wrote Crick Crack, which I also read in February. It's a short story collection, and I absolutely loved it, particularly how it's a short story collection of connected short stories, and like the stories of the people that you get, they're connected to each other, and It's so good. And I can't wait to read. I have 2 other books by Edwidge Danticat that I have not gotten to yet because I wanted to get to them last month for Read Caribbean. It didn't happen. That's okay. Paper doesn't go bad. I also have Grant Park by Leonard Pitch Jr. that I hope to get to soon as well. I don't know when it's going to happen, but yeah. Number 8, newest fictional crush. I don't have one because with everything, sometimes I will have one, but with everything going on in the world, the last thing that I'm thinking about is falling in love with a fictional character because, nope. Newest favorite character is Besa from She Would Be King, because Besa starts this story cursed at birth and goes through the hardship of existence, being cursed and being shunned by her village, partially shunned by her parents, and goes through this story still having compassion and a passion for her people and for mankind, and living out, understanding her curse and living out her curse, and not being dissuaded from what she feels her mission is because of her curse, and literally living to live in her curse over and over again, and never becoming discouraged in what her purpose is and the reality of her situation, and finding a way to work through that and just be a fucking badass Besa. I said when I did my review of this that I was still meditating on this, and I am still meditating on Besa and how I can be like Besa, how we women, black women, can be like Besa and use our power the way Besa chose to use her power, and make a difference and make an impact on our community and on the people that we love, the people that we come into relationship, and building relationships, not being so jaded about humanity, which is so easy to do and which I suffer with, but not being so jaded by humanity that we give up and we say fuck it and fuck everybody. Besa. Number 10, a book that made you cry. The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by Janata Petrus. This book wrecked my soul, and it was worth every tear. It was so good. Number 11, a book that made you happy. And for that, I have an arc that I received of A Phoenix First Must Burn, which is edited by Patrice Caldwell. It's a collection of 16 short stories. And the reason why this made me happy is because I am a stan for Octavia Butler, and this is the continuation of her legacy and the impact of her legacy on a whole new group of YA writers, and introducing the importance, just having, number one, the title, which is based on a quote from an Octavia Butler book, and then stating that this is a combination or a culmination of Octavia Butler's influence in these authors, puts her name in front of an age group of young readers who may never have heard of Octavia Butler before, or may think that because Octavia Butler's writing was in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, that it couldn't apply to current day, or it could not have an impact on them. Putting this out there just broadens the minds and the desire for these younger readers to pick up Octavia Butler's work, and seeing that this was done, it makes me happy. Number 12, the most beautiful book you've bought or received this year, the 20th anniversary edition of Sugar by Bernice L. McFadden. I was absolutely amazed and blessed to receive this copy from Miss McFadden herself. And my friend Mary says that the reason why I feel like this cover is super beautiful is because Sugar is in blue. My favorite color is blue. That could be it. I honestly hadn't even noticed it. What I had noticed was the beautiful profile of Sugar with the flowers, and the flowers are like pinkish peach, And it did not detract from how beautiful this cover is, because I'm not a flower person. I'm not a pink/peach person. But it did not detract from how beautiful this cover is. And this is like the haircut of Sugar, the profile, the neck, everything. The diva-ness that's in this is how I pictured Sugar looking when I first read this. So yeah, this to me is absolute gorgeousness. And also, if you have not read Sugar by Bernice L. McFadden, get your life. And then the last question, number 13, what books do you really need to read by the end of the year? I don't normally subscribe to the I have to finish these books, I have to read these books, unless it's a library book, because you know I have to turn it in. But this year's a little different because I have a shit ton of ARCs that I received. I was contacted by Penguin Teen when they sent me a copy of A Phoenix First Must Burn to review, and as a result of that connection, I have been afforded quite a few e-ARCs for some books that are coming out, and I need to read those. But I'm not going to share those here because the list is long. So stay tuned for my ARC August TBR video, which will be coming at the end of July, and that is basically the answer to number 13. And I'm going to end this video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good week, weekend, whenever you see this video. Peace out.